Oh, that's a good sound.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sam Cottle's Wind Tunnel with me, Sam Cottle, and Jack Lasser.
Hi. Yeah, there was a lot that went on, but you didn't hear it because we're kids.
Yeah, we were having quite a good conversation, but it turned out that the camera wasn't actually on, so we made a sort of rookie mistake.
It was a rookie error.
So, I mean, where are we at the moment? We're smoking pipes. Well, I'm smoking a pipe anyway. We're at the Pig and Fiddle in Bath. And we're just chilling out here on the patio, having a good time.
No painting this time.
No painting.
Because we're in a wind tunnel.
Just having.
Don't. Dude, that would be interesting. If you had like a canvas at the other end of a wind tunnel, you just pick up a paint, like a brush, dip it in paint, water as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Jackson Pollock.
Yeah, mix all the paint up with oil and just put it in like a fan and then make it.
This is why we should work at NASA.
Yeah.
Because we'd be groovy cats.
Yeah. In the propulsion division.
Yeah, JPL.
This fucking thing isn't mine. This grouse small is wet. Grouse small, by the way, is a delicious tobacco.
But Jack does not appreciate. Actually, that was a complete lie. Edit that out. It's better than Nightcap, which Jack likes. Jack's tasty shit.
No, Jack likes grouse small, doesn't he?
He does, but he prefers. Well, actually, I'm just chatting out of my ass. Jack's a connoisseur. He knows that every tobacco has its time.
I think Jack's just a sir.
He is a sir. He's a complete gentleman.
He is.
He's a refinement. He was born in the wrong era. The thing I love about tobacconists is that they always sell like shaving things as well.
Yeah.
Like it's such a gentleman's shop. Like always selling spirits, whatever, whiskey or gin.
Yeah.
Rum, spirit in general. And they're always so cool. They're always like the Japanese bars. So refined.
So yeah, we were. Yeah, now there's noise around here.
We're by the seaside, everybody. Everyone knows the park is by the seaside.
What were we thinking about Bayesian thinking?
I still can't get it up on my phone.
Bayesian curves and analysis.
I think I got confused because it's Bezier curves.
Bayesian.
Yeah.
Se puede entrar, sí.
Will the internet.
El otro día con la aplicación esta. ¿Sabes lo que te digo?
Yeah, server is not.
You fucking will be.
Oh, you got it by train?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was almost this day.
Yeah.
How much was it? Oh,
It was-
$13.40.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Is that a return?
Yes.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
I'm giving up on the pipe. No, I think it's done anyway.
That is
But then again, I always underestimate my pipes.
just squidge it. Because then it burns me. Yeah, you got plenty. Jack would be fine.
Yeah, Jack would be very disappointed. It's our friend who's not here at the moment.
Jack, one day you'll be here and we will talk about global politics or something. Because that's always what it comes to.
Global politics in science, big ideas in science,
Yeah.
maths, philosophy. Very big.
He's a very good conversationalist.
Yeah, he is.
Has a habit of taking over conversation.
He has a gift for the gap. Jack does.
He's a very competent
Rhetorician.
locutor.
Yeah. So, yeah. On that subject, of deep philosophical stuff, like, God, do you think God exists?
I think most
For
religions.
instance.
I think. Well, I mean, if we're talking about like the Christian God or whatever, I think whatever you call it, there's kind of a general worldwide understanding of something greater than us. I think it manifests differently in every different religion. You can compare the Western traditions where there's like a central big dude in, well, not big dude in the sky, but like a definite figure that you can almost attribute a name to, and then you can compare it to like the East, to stuff like Taoism, and even Buddhism to an extent. There's this conception of a universal law, which I think it can be a case of pick your flavour. I think I do find that the Eastern religions have a more interesting approach to it because it's not so anthropocentric. I learned that word in RS. It's a good word, but it makes it more, I think, clearly observable because it's the kind of thing you can meditate and contemplate without having strict rules to fall into, and it means that every follower can have an individual understanding of their thing that is greater, like their way. Taoism is all about the way of things, and when you put it that way, and if you view it as a religion, I don't know, maybe there's something theosophical shit. Oh no! Maybe there's something theosophical about it. So, yeah. To get back to the question, maybe. But there are.
So you don't think that God is nature?
I think we're saying that God, I think, in his most observable form, is nature. Whether or not you add any other characteristics onto that, I don't know. But I get the feeling that if God exists, he doesn't really. God has set the ball rolling, and God has, he's put the rules there, and he's allowed things to unfold, and we are there to observe what goes on and contemplate it. What happens after, I don't know. So to give a very evasive answer, maybe.
That's what your answer is, I like that. Just, well, maybe. Sort of, yeah, possibly.
One of those things that's beyond proof, like that.
Big man on the cloud. There's only a tiny little bit left. Jack's watching.
Jack, I'm not my response.
Only a tiny bit, honestly.
Jack, I love you. But yeah, I know. What do you think?
No, I don't think God exists. I mean, I used to call my channel the Pantheist. Yeah. And I used to think of myself as a pantheist, and I might still, to some extent. But whether or not I really regard, I think the only thing you could regard God as is nature. So I think if you were to do otherwise, you would subtract from the power of God that would be latent within the universe. And after all, the only arena in which we know of the existence of power is within the universe. So God must be equal to the universe for that reason. That's basically.
Yeah. I can get on.
So, yeah, that's my thing. I really want to look at Bayesian systems.
I think it's curious if like. Yeah, you can't observe God directly, can you? You can only observe his effects, if there was such.
Yeah.
Which is the general.
And is that like an effect that's unique to God?
Well, there's that numinous effect, right?
Go on.
Well, so the numinous is like, I mean, the way I understand it in very improvised terms is this feeling of the presence of something greater. Oh shit. Quick detour.
Bloody
Seagulls
hell.
just fuck shit up.
I wish we filmed that because like, some seagulls just attacked the table.
Absolute gangsters. And now they're attacking our thing.
That looks properly like a
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Ow!
How you doing, Sam? All right?
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you, buddy.
And you?
Okay?
Yeah.
Sam, Michael? Enjoying your seagull?
Pet seagull. Interesting. Yeah, no, the numinous is a general sense that that something divine is present. That you're in the presence of something that is ineffable, but it's still, you can feel its aura. So you get that sometimes through prayer, meditation. Sometimes you get it spontaneously. I don't know, you just feel, wow, I'm, in the presence of something amazing. The common description or common situation, textbook situation, is when you're looking up at the night sky and you think it's a wonderful clear night, whatever, and then you look up and you think, oh god damn, I'm tiny. And you thereby sense that feeling that there is something amazing, or at least bewildering.
Yeah. Something we certainly don't understand about nature.
Sorry?
And there's something that we certainly don't understand about it.
Yeah.
Or a great deal we don't understand about it.
Yeah, there's always the question of why. You can observe it, but you can't always pin down why. Because you can say, oh, that's just how it is, and you can observe the way it is, but you can't say why it is. Unless why is because, in which case that's not going to satisfy an analytical human mind, which is grounded in, distinctions of life and death, success and failure, happiness and misery.
Yeah.
We're kind of stuck in our way of thinking, and that's why we're kind of damned to be mortal, and because
well, I mean, we're bound to be mortal because of the environment in which we live in causes us to age, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like we're trapped souls. Yeah, and that's one way you can view it. We're trapped in mortal bodies.
Cosmic rays and so on cause cancer.
Yes,
the environment causes us to develop tumours and so on in age.
And it's interesting because I think our very successes depend on the fact that we die in age and fail. Because, if we were replicating beings without some kind of drawbacks and kind of death, I don't think we'd be a great deal. We'd be everything, which we aren't. Unless you can say we are, in the sense that our perceptions are all that we can know. I can't remember how we started. And there's stuff like psychedelics, which can, induce that sense of numinous and understanding.
Yeah, we were on this topic earlier. We were talking about sort of DMT and the DMT is a sort of chemical that's supposed to be released in our brain when we die, right?
I didn't know it was released when we die. Isn't it like the God?
It's also thought to be responsible for the dream.
I didn't know we produced DMT naturally.
I think we do. Yeah.
Everybody dream more. or die more. But
So I mean, it's thinking about the sort of dream state we go to when we die.
It's like an eternal fractal. Fractals are sick. I once envisioned a cult where everyone smoked weed and listened to fractals. Watched fractals on YouTube all day. And that was their form of prayer. It's a good experience, you should try it if you haven't.
I suppose plenty of people do that already, don't they?
I do that whenever I have anything. Which I do. But yeah, I mean there's always the question of like, are trips authentic?
Yeah.
Is that a genuine connection to anything divine or special, or is it just a drug?
I suppose the big question is like define genuine.
Yeah, it's true because if we have access to it,
it's of the mind. Certainly, the waking reality is also of the mind.
Yeah. So
self-centered perceptions and so on.
If life is manipulating our environment, then aren't we entitled to take trips? I believe they are authentic, in the sense that they can provide an experience that can be understood in some divine way. It doesn't matter if it's brought on divinely or whatever. And maybe mushrooms are divine. Maybe that's a God's present to us.
Possibly. Oh yeah, no, this is what we were talking about earlier. We were talking about Terence McKenna and this possibility that it was mushrooms that led to the expansion of human consciousness and that led to the development of our larger brains.
Yeah.
Terence McKenna, food of the gods sort of hypothesis.
It's a very interesting one. Yeah. So he cited like 3 ways that it would, like 3 stages where it would have helped us to develop as a species, and he starts at a low dose, and his argument was that a low dose would increase visual acuity, so our ability to see predators, see viable food sources, see threats, and see ways in which we can manipulate the environment to our aid. Second one, I think this is the second one, is the giant orgy stage where no one knows who their kid is. Well, apart from the mothers, but no one knows who their kid is, right? And that's supposed to dissolve this like male hierarchical conception we have of society, where like bloodlines run, like we take up by the second name, right?
It's around the dominant chimp model of society, where it's patriarchal.
Yeah.
Become more like bonobo apes.
Yeah. Yes, that's the second stage, and there was there's something else linked to that. Oh yeah, and then supposedly that links to. So in a lot of religions, there's this sense of the fall, right, where we were once at the peak, and then we fell because we moved away from God. And this is where the third stage comes in, and it's when we take too much, and we actually start genuinely tripping. And just a quick addendum, second point, we're not actually tripping at this point on shrooms. We're under the influence. It makes us frisky, and everyone has giant orgies, and then that's when all the kids happen. But people aren't tripping, and this is important because the third point is where like the mystics and the psychedelic trip as a form of revelation comes in.
Yeah.
And then people start acting, maybe immorally and immorally. They start doing stupid shit, and it kind of taints the effect. And because we're taking so many shrooms, there's now like a deficit of shrooms, and this is where the fall comes in.
Yeah.
Because there's no more shrooms. People can't have that kind of giant orgy when you can't do it. So this is where the fall comes in, and supposedly this is what started it all. And then this impetus given by our consumption of shrooms is what gave the impetus for us to move towards the present day. And that is Terence McKenna. One specific lecture, which I vaguely remember from a few weeks ago. Yeah, it's kind of curious. Shrooms. Maybe we owe a lot to them, and now we're just shrooming. Wish I was shrooming. I want to shroom now. I want to shroom bad. I never shroomed before. I want to shroom. We will absolutely shroom. Yeah.
We'll go out to the woods and do it.
Is it not a thing in campus?
Well, you can do it in the town, I suppose, but
It would. If you might definitely risk a bad trip.
yeah, you need to be in nature to do it.
I think that's what Terence McKenna did.
We'll go where I went the first time. Did tracks. Go by the canal and do it.
See the
one of the many canals.
So you can see the water turn into Poseidon and stab us with brightness. Fun. Groovy.
When I did it, well, not the first time. The first time I did it in the Netherlands, I remember seeing like all these balloons in the sky that weren't really there.
Oh shit.
So related this to the people I was with afterwards, I think.
How so?
I just said, there's all those balloons.
Oh, you related it to
There were no balloons.
What do you think the balloons were?
I don't know. Those sort of weird, huge balloons. They look like alien spacecraft.
Oh. Maybe it's the alien overlords.
Maybe.
Or maybe it's how we want to be. A nice little big free balloon in the sky, carried in one thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's our reflection.
Great big, beautiful balloon.
Yeah, I want to be a balloon. It's sick. I just don't want to get popped, but I guess that's inevitable. So,
The inevitability of popping.
Pop. Yeah, theology is cool.
Is it? Or is it a bit of a sort of a wasted subject?
Is it a wasted subject?
Like Richard Dawkins thinks. Pointless subject. Or does the study of religion have merit?
I think society tends to lose its way without religion. I think we're losing our way now because we're becoming more secularized. But because without religion, you're basically just living a utilitarian life, right? A very materialistic, utilitarian life.
Yeah, I think it's important to have focus on something higher, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you can call it spirituality, you can call it religion, but there needs to be something. Or at least an ideal, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what's your moral standard? You need objective truths to get anywhere. I think, whether they're personal or personal objective truth, is that even a thing?
Yeah, but those could be the objective truths of science, couldn't they? And you could always have science as your religion.
I mean, that's kind of what Richard Dawkins does, right?
Sure, yeah.
Because he has his selfish gene theory or whatever, and that's kind of his grounding principle. I think if you took it too far, because that's like the naturalistic fallacy, right? Where you take nature too far. It's where you have your understanding of maybe the selfish gene. You build your life around that, and then life suddenly becomes a huge brawl where you're fighting against your fellow man. Just because your genes say that you have to, because that's your duty. It's like, well, really, I don't know. That can't be too healthy. And because you can weed out all the weak genes and then whatever.
Eliminate
the weak genes. Cleanse the genes pool. Yeah. See, this is what people have done in the past. They've tried to cleanse the gene pool, right? That's basically where genocide comes from. Is that cool? I don't know.
No.
So, I don't know. There does need... I don't think it's futile. I mean, I think it is futile, but it's one of those futile endeavours that needs to be pursued.
Or genocide?
No, religion. Understanding religion.
Okay,
No, not genocide. If we could refrain from that, that'd be pretty kosher. But otherwise, nah. I don't know. I wish there was someone. We like someone that's completely opposite to us, who just believes the complete opposite, that we can just argue with. We need Richard Dawkins right here.
We need someone to parry.
Exactly. We need sparring partners.
Yes.
Because if we indulge ourselves too much, then we're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, it's like you could be like a Steve Merchant, I agree with the Gervais character. We need to find out Carl Burlington.
Okay, this is slightly lost. I know who Ricky Gervais is. He's cool. Sometimes.
Have you seen that podcast though?
I haven't seen it.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, I should.
It's some of the things Carl comes up with. It's just fantastic. Well, there was this one time that Carl was doing like a diary.
Yeah.
And he said, I went to the park with Suzanne. Suzanne read the paper while I played with the ladybird. And that was just particularly funny. Richard cracked up a huge amount.
Play with the ladybugs. Sounds like an interesting book.
That was like a child.
Yeah. Mummy, read my paper. Going to play with the ladybugs. The coccinella. If you get a ladybird...
Is that actually the Latin name for ladybird?
I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you one of these people who knows like all the Latin names to all the animals and stuff?
Vulpes vulpix.
Vulpus vulpus. Fox.
Yes.
Yeah.
Canis canis.
Dog. Canis lupus.
Canis lupus, is that a wolf?
Yeah.
I don't, basically.
I just know that from Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Yeast. Brewer's yeast. If you get ladybird in your wine, you're in for a very bad time. That's also a good quit.
Ladybird in your wine, very bad time.
Yeah, it's a good quit. I just made it up, so royalties, thanks. But no, it's really potent. Like if you get, I think if you get one ladybird in your fermentation, not fun. Yeah, bad.
Jack is a wine student, by the way. He studies viticulture and enology at Hunting College in Sussex.
Yes.
And I'm an agriculture student, so I study farming.
I think you'd find it easier to get into viticulture than I would to get into agriculture. I believe so. That's completely unfounded. But something tells me that having a more general degree of agriculture, you can apply that.
That's what
Because viticulture gets boringly specific at quite a lot of times, and that's when I zone out. So, yeah, it's good.
What is your favourite kind of soil?
Silty loam, or just a loam in general.
You don't like sandy clay land?
painting.
Oh, it's sandy clay loam, that's what they on the soil pyramid.
I don't like clay. I mean, clay,
No one does.
clay's okay, but it's a bitch to work with. So don't. Well, I mean, you don't have a choice really sometimes.
What's good for livestock farmers?
I didn't know it was good for livestock. I mean, it's okay for vines, I suppose, because it's got a good ability to retain micronutrients, so like potassium, phosphorus.
Yeah, it's very nutritious.
Nitrogen. It's very nutritious, but working with it, as a human being, driving tractors and stepping on it and digging it up and whatever, it's a lot of work. It's very strong.
Yeah, you can't mechanically cultivate it.
Yeah, I mean, you can with a lot of effort. It's a very big machine. But like, it's very expensive. One of the things I've learned recently through my work is that the most important thing is to be able to turn a profit. You can have all the romantic ideals you want about making wine, but no, gotta make money. Even if it means deceiving, which is what happens everywhere. You'll learn that. Half the wine isn't what it says it is, especially in Italy. But that's another subject.
What do you think about Blossom Hill Chardonnay?
I guess it has a market, so I guess that delicious. No, I mean it has a market, so in that sense it's successful. And maybe as like a beginner wine, why not?
Okay.
People can graduate from that into higher, more sophisticated, genuine.
And if Blossom Hill wants to sponsor us at any point,
I love you. Every bit of value, every kilogram of sugar in your liter. Love it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Sugar's one of those things that.
What's your favourite kind of sugar? Are you more of a sucrose man or a fructose man? A lactose man?
I'm more of a demerara. I don't know. I like sucrose because you can ferment it. You can't ferment fructose, so you don't get alcohol with fructose. I mean, you can, but not efficiently. So residual sugar in alcohol is normally always fructose. Because I think fructose is twice as sweet as sucrose is. I think that's the ratio.
Okay.
What was I?
Yeah, cause it's basically the same chemical, the same molecule.
Yeah, it's basically the same. I think it's chiral opposite.
Yeah.
But it's like reflective or something. Cellulose is made from.
Talk about physics, the chiral symmetry breaking of the.
Yeah. No, I think.
The symmetry breaking of the chiral boson.
That's not a topic I know a great deal about. Enlighten us.
Nor do I.
Oh.
No, but the symmetry in physics is where you have two laws of physics which look the same when they're represented mathematically. And symmetry breaking is when that looking the sameness changes. So for instance, you've got Newton's law of gravity.
Yeah.